you clicked on this video but you have no goals and you have no intentions whatsoever of making any progress in life, then I invite you to click off this video because it's not going to help you. This video is for ambitious individuals who feel like they're not tapping into their fullest potential. If you're feeling distracted, or if you feel like your mind is simply all over the place, like you can't just sit still and do the things that you need to do in order to achieve your goals, then this video is the magic pill that will solve all of your problems. Have you ever looked at all of those people on social media who show you their 5 AM morning routines? They meditate, they go straight to the gym, come back and have a healthy breakfast, and sit down at their desk to crush a few hours of productive, focused, deep work. Have you ever looked at those people and wondered how can they manage to do all of it? Have you ever told yourself, I wish I had that kind of willpower? And looking in from the outside, it might look like these people are just born that way. They're born different, they're special, almost superhuman in a way, that for some reason they just have it in their genes to achieve more than the average mortal. I remember one day that my cousin, whom I had not seen in a long time, came to visit me. She told me she had no idea how I managed to find the motivation to work out every single day. And she also said that she wished she had that kind of motivation to work out. And the reason why I'm telling you this, to be completely honest with you, is because most of the time when I go and exercise, it's not like I'm feeling super pumped or super motivated right before the workout. I just get myself to do it most of the time, and then I enjoy the workout when I'm in the middle of it, but not right when I'm just beginning. And so I get myself to do it because fitness and health, it's a very important part of life for me, at least. Because I mean, if you don't have good health, then what else do you have? So now you may start to wonder, okay, that's great and all, but why exactly are we talking about people waking up at 5 AM and stuff? Well, let's say that right now, the following scenario is what your life currently looks like. You roll out of bed at 11 AM or 12 PM and you don't actually feel that well rested because you went to sleep at like 2 AM, 3 AM, even 4 AM. And one of the very first things that you do in your day is to grab your phone and to open up TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, or whatever app you use. Now, if you exclusively follow accounts of people who inspire you to do better, who share their journey with you transparently, and who genuinely want you to see do better, then at first sight, it might look like you're not actually doing anything counterproductive, right? After all, you're just getting your small dose of motivation at the start of the day. So how could this be harmful? Believe it or not, but in the morning, when your alarm clock goes off, it triggers the release of a hormone called cortisol in your body. Cortisol is also known as the stress hormone. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that cortisol has to be a bad thing just because it's called the stress hormone, because it actually regulates many functions in your body and in your brain. For instance, it helps you to control your sleep-wake cycle. Now, on the other hand, what is in fact harmful and detrimental to your health is when your cortisol levels are constantly elevated. I mean, I'm sure that you can clearly see how this would negatively affect the quality of your life if you are constantly anxious or stressed out or even angry. The thing is that if one of the very first things that you do each morning as you wake up is to grab your phone and to start scrolling on social media, you are spiking your cortisol levels. Not to even mention the fact that you could stumble upon something, a video, a tweet, an article that just triggers a lot of negative feelings in you, and it could make you upset for the rest of the day. The way that you begin your day and also the way that you end your day is a crucial element to your success. If you take a look at all of the richest or the most successful people in any given field, you will see that they all follow some sort of a routine, and especially a morning routine, because it allows you to stack good habits, positive habits on top of each other, and you get to start your day on the right foot. It gives you the initial momentum to have a great, productive day. And you see, this is the reason why dopamine fucks you up. Dopamine is a hormone released in your body whenever you do something that's pleasurable or that simply feels good. Meditate, dopamine release. Eat tasty food, dopamine release. Spend some quality time with your loved ones, dopamine release. Have fun in the bed sheets, dopamine release. Now, if we look at this, I mean, at first sight it might sound amazing, and technically one of the first reactions that we could have is to simply want to seek out as much things as possible that make us feel good or that make us feel pleasure, and then to seek to only do those things, right? Well, not so fast, because you see, it doesn't lead to happiness. Hedonism, which is the practice of seeking pleasure as much as possible and avoiding pain as much as possible, is actually well known to make people depressed to the point that they even take their own life. So dopamine does not equal happiness. And if you're watching this video right now, then you've probably spent at least one day of your life doing nothing productive. You didn't follow through on any of your good habits, and you basically spent all day eating junk food, sugar, scrolling on social media, or opening up the incognito navigation to do you know what. Well, let me ask you, how did you feel at the end of that day? Did you feel good about yourself? Did you feel like you made a lot of progress and you got closer to turning your dreams into a reality, to building that dream life that you've always wanted? Of course not. Now compare that to another day in which you followed through on your positive habits. You got up early, you did some meditation maybe, you also went and exercised, and you did a few hours of deep work on your business or on your personal projects. When you went to bed that night and your head hit the pillow, how do you feel? Probably fulfilled and also proud of yourself. The problem is that when you are constantly engaging in instant gratification, your dopamine levels are always through the roof. Therefore, any activity that is somewhat difficult, like working on your business or going to the gym, becomes literally impossible. I mean, try to go and sit down and do some boring deep work when you could just go on social media or watch movies. I mean, it becomes complicated when you're so used to doing these things. And if you're watching this video right now, then I'm assuming that you've got big goals and you want to build a bigger, a better life for yourself and for your loved ones. But this is not going to happen if your dopamine levels are constantly sky high. Because one of the functions of dopamine is to regulate your motivation levels. Therefore, if you are constantly engaging in instant gratification, easy access activities that feel pleasurable right now, such as eating junk food, sugar, endlessly scrolling on social media, or watching adult stuff, you know what I mean, then guess what is going to happen? Your dopamine levels are going to be so high that you are going to have zero motivation whatsoever to do all of the things that you need to do in order to reach your goals and to turn your dreams into a reality. That's the harsh truth that you need to hear if you really want to move forward and become successful. I mean, sometimes in my business, I have to do tasks that are not particularly fun and they're even difficult sometimes. And there is no way that I would be able to complete those tasks, those boring tasks, if I was constantly elevating my dopamine levels, if I was hooked on instant gratification. And now I have to warn you, because without this key ingredient, your dopamine detox is going to fail. If you make this one mistake, you literally obliterate any chance of success. And that is your why. I like to say that if you don't have a strong enough reason to do something, you just won't do it. Human beings are lazy by nature. This is just how we're programmed to be. And if you think I over-exaggerate this, then let me ask you this question. What makes the most sense from an evolutionary perspective? Let's say that you're in the wilderness, and unlike most people, you don't have constant access to a fridge or to a nearby supermarket to get some food. So if you're hungry, you have to pick up the weapons that you made yourself, if you even have any, and go into the dangerous wilderness to hunt your prey. And guess what? If you come back empty-handed, you don't get to eat. I think that we forget in the modern world that not too long ago, we ate what we killed. There was just no other way around it. So knowing that for most of us, food was pretty hard to obtain and pretty scarce back then, do you really think that it would make sense for us to be programmed, designed to be running around 24/7, wasting the precious energy that is crucial to our survival? Of course not. So the next time that you beat yourself up for being quote-unquote lazy, remind yourself that we are literally hardwired biologically to waste as little of our energy as humanly possible. Now I'm sure that you've already seen those videos on YouTube or on social media about people doing these 24-hour dopamine detoxes. They basically spend the whole day doing nothing or just sitting with their thoughts. Some people even took it to another extreme, as if it wasn't extreme already, and they did not allow themselves to eat or to drink for those 24 hours. The thing that a lot of people who did this experiment noticed is that when you remove all noise, you shut yourself out from all of the distractions around you, it allows you to discover yourself on a much deeper level. But truthfully, we're not going to dive deep into this in this video because this is a very clickbaity way of doing a dopamine detox. And truth be told, I don't even recommend this extreme version of the dopamine detox for most people. Because what do you honestly think is gonna happen for most people if you remove absolutely everything from their life for 24 hours? But then you go right back to your old life filled with instant gratification. I personally think that it's actually beating around the bush and not being willing to create a long-lasting change in your life. So what should you do instead then? I created a two-step process that I'm going to share with you right now. The first step I call the purge. The goal of the purge is to do an intensified version of the routinized dopamine detox. It's gonna allow you to smoothly transition from a somewhat restrictive dopamine detox to an actual lifestyle. Doing the purge, you need to follow the 4 following rules. No stimulants, so no caffeine, no sugar, no alcohol, no junk food, no drugs, no cigarettes, none of that. And then no entertainment, no watching YouTube except if it's purely educational content and you really need it to work on your business or to study or to do whatever you do. No watching TV shows or movies. And then no social media. You really want to get off of your phone and to experience life in the real world instead. It's been shown time and time again that the more time that you spend on social media, the more likely you are to become depressed and to isolate yourself from other people socially, because you are constantly being exposed to fake expectations, super high standards that are like very unrealistic for most people, and also there's just so much drama ongoing all of the time on social media. What you can do instead is to spend more time in nature, spend more time learning or working on your business or building relationships with real people that you connect with on a deep, intimate level. Rule number 4 is no PMO. PMO means porn, masturbation, and orgasm. The reason why you want to avoid this one especially is because it spikes your dopamine levels to crazy heights like nothing else. Not to even mention the fact that watching adult content is killing your mental health, your self-esteem, and your relationships with other people. And also you have to realize that the elites don't want you to notice. They want you to keep wasting your precious energy so that you don't build successful businesses and have a lot of money and become dangerous for them. The elites don't want to see you do well, so they're gonna encourage you to do PMO, of course. They don't want you to retain that strong and powerful energy. You have to understand that sexual energy is the most powerful energy stored in the body. So if you're constantly wasting that energy, and especially if you're wasting that precious energy on pixels on a screen instead of doing it with someone with whom you actually connect on a deep and intimate level, you are depriving yourself of the most powerful energy source that we can have access to as humans and that you could tap into in order to reach your goals and to build your dream life. Now, how long should you go for a purge? For most people, the purge should be lasting anywhere from 7 days to 14 days, so 1 to 2 weeks at most. I've found that 7 days seems to be the sweet spot for most people, but you can still extend that timeline if you still feel like your dopamine levels are too high. Now, step 2 is the routinized dopamine detox. It means that instead of having some hard rules that you are never allowed to break, you regulate your dopamine levels in a clever way on the long term. Think about it. If you don't drink, for instance, because you're on dopamine detox, well, are you really never going to drink ever again in your entire life? Of course not. It's probably gonna happen at some point that you will have a drink or two. And I think it's great to work and to be a high achiever and to pursue your goals and all, but you should also allow yourself to just relax, to enjoy life and to do the things that you want to do. You cannot be grinding 24/7. And let's be real, for most of us, we're not grinding just because we want to grind. We're grinding because we want to build a better life for ourselves and for our loved ones. At the end of the day, when you're at the finish line and you look back at everything that you did in your life, the number that you will have in your bank account is not going to matter more than all of the experiences that you will have lived through. In plain and simple English, the routinized version of the dopamine detox is to create a set of guiding principles that you can fall back on whenever necessary. It's about doing things with moderation. For instance, I personally know I will always work out unless I'm like bedridden or something, because this is one of my key principles and values, which is health and fitness. It's about turning the dopamine detox into a lifestyle so that you can achieve your goals with ease. So if you want to drink something or you want to eat some tasty sugary food, by all means go ahead, but maybe don't do it right before you do an intense focused session of deep work, of course. Or don't go and party and do drugs or drink heavily right before the day you'll have to do some cognitively demanding tasks for your business, because if you do that, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. If you enjoy watching MrBeast or any other creator, or you enjoy watching movies or TV shows, by all means go ahead and watch them, but maybe don't do it to the point that this is just what you do all day and you don't even work on your business anymore. At the end of the day, I am not here to tell you what you should do or what you shouldn't do. It's up to people to make their own choices, but the dopamine detox is definitely a powerful tool in your arsenal to use if you are an ambitious individual trying to build a profitable online business and a better life. I recorded a free step-by-step guide on YouTube that shows you how you can build a successful, profitable business from scratch. It's the business that I started myself. I'll put up a card here and you can access the video by clicking on the card. Or if you want, I have a whole playlist in the description down below on how you can make money online. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I reply to every single comment. And with that said, I will see you in the next one.